to this show tonight. Give yourself a round of applause. It's very much appreciated by myself and all of the comics here. A lot of us, all the comics you've seen so far, I met them through performing in DC. I live in Silver Spring. It's great to do a show. Yes! Who here lives in Silver Spring? Yes! Oh my gosh, everyone! Except people who don't live here. I love Silver Spring. It was great to come to this show because I just walked right up 2nd Avenue, and I was like, wow, I'm here. The other day I was walking to a show in DC, this was about 2 weeks ago, and I had this weird experience. I was walking up 14th Street, and I was waiting at an intersection, and then I got the sign that said that I could walk ahead. So I started walking ahead, and this man was trying to turn from 14th Street down the street that I was walking across, and he had to wait because I was in the intersection. And when he drove past me, finally, he rolled down his window, and he shouted at me, and he said, "What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?" And I'm a calm person. I would even say I'm pleasant. But I don't know what it was that struck me with what this man said, but I turned and I said, "You don't want to know! So much is wrong with me, you don't even want to know!" And you know what? He drove away. So I think I handled that pretty well. Yeah, I think I did. Thank you. I think I scared him a little bit. It's hard. Communicating with people is hard. All right, I think all of us here has had at least one interaction in your lifetime that has not gone as planned. I think it's very interesting. Who saw the movie back in 2005? It was called Grizzly Man. Has anyone seen it? Okay, a few people. This is what the movie is about, everyone. There is this man, his name was Timothy Treadwell, and for 13 years he lived amongst grizzly bears. To research them. But he didn't just research them, he thought that he could talk to them. He thought that he had this calling to interact with the grizzly bears, and whenever they would wake up from hibernation, he would go into the forest and he would study them. But as a what am I trying to say? He would speak to them. Like, they would be bathing in the river, they would be eating, and he would go up to them and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm back!" And he would try to touch them. And he did this for 13 years, and scientists who kind of studied his research, they think that the reason he was just never attacked for so long was because the bears were just so flabbergasted at what he was doing. Because I think everyone here, if we even saw a bear tangentially close to us, we'd be like, well, we're out, we're going. But he would just walk right up to them and take their food, and he would give them names like Mr. Brown and Mr. Black. That's the creative force that we're working with. But on his 13th year that he was doing this, he was mauled to death by one of the bears. That's the sad part of the story. But at the end of the day, when you watch it, you see someone so confident in their speaking abilities that they think they're so good at communication that they can talk to bears. And if that hope exists, then I know that I can talk to people. Because you all are my own species, and no one will maul me to death. But talking to people is hard. One thing that's really tough about being in your 20s and 30s is a lot of people will spring surprise networking events on you. Networking is difficult. Everyone can be grouped into one of two categories, good at networking or not good at networking. I would say I'm in the not good at it category. I'm good at some of it. I only speak in non sequiturs, so that's useful. Thank you. I knew this time was going to be my best one. But once I run out of the non sequiturs, I have nothing left to say. So stuff. I was at a networking event a few months ago, and I only networked with one thing. It was a sandwich. The networking event put out a buffet of hot food items. I picked out a sandwich, and I sat with it for about an hour and a half. That seemed like enough for me. But beyond the sandwich, didn't do any networking. I think the easiest place to do networking is on airplanes because you physically can't go anywhere until your airplane ride is completed. Airplanes are weird. I don't like them. I hate flying. That's because if you're in an airplane, you're either landing on Earth as scheduled or unscheduled. And if you're landing unscheduled, you're dead. The last time I was on an airplane, I experienced extreme turbulence for a period of about 20 minutes, which was the longest 20 minutes I've ever experienced in my lifetime. And I've been through orthodontia, so a lot of time. I was on this plane and we experienced this like extreme turbulence, and this woman leaned over to me and was like, "Hey, it's gonna be okay," because I was really tense up, and she's like, "It's gonna be okay, you know, statistically this is the safest way to travel." And I'm like, statistics are statistics are statistics are statistics. I don't want to hear about the statistics. This is bad. Like, logically, yes, we're on the same page. This is safe. But emotionally, we're about to crash. I kept that in and I was like, "Oh, thank you. That's very helpful." Thank you, man. It was so strange. I was in a wedding earlier this summer, which was fun. Wedding for a very good friend, someone I went to college with. One great thing about this wedding party is half of us were married and had kids, and I was part of the other half that were single and ready to get crazy. But one good thing about having a group with moms in it is that moms are always prepared. Give a round of applause for all the moms out there. It's like I've never been in a more prepared group of people that had a separate bag, separate from their purse, that contained snacks and juice. At one point it got really hot and one of the moms said, "Who wants juice?" And she was speaking to all the flower girls and ring bearers, but I was like, "I too would like a juice. Please throw me one. I'm very dehydrated." And she did. She had juice to go around. So thank you, moms. I'm going to end with this little ditty. Who remembers back a few years ago, actually even today, when you're playing a game on an electronic device, you can sometimes pick your difficulty level. You can pick easy, medium, or hard. When I was a kid, and even to this day, I'll always pick easy. And sometimes people will make like subtle, witty comments about it, like, "Oh, why are you picking easy? Don't you want to challenge yourself?" And my response to that is, this is a game for enjoyment. Like, here's what I don't understand. Life is a challenge. Why do we want to challenge ourselves when we're searching out fun? That's what I don't understand. Like, don't we just want 50 minutes of enjoyment for Pete's sake? I don't even know what intermediate is. So the choice between easy and difficult, I'm not choosing another difficult thing. I've had to experience a lot of difficulties. Like when the fax machine's broken and no one knows how to fix it. Or when you have to get your blood drawn and they can't find your vein. They're like, "We'll just search for it." It's like, no. The answer's no. We're not doing that. Life. Something we all have in common. At this point, though, I've been Stacey Axler. You've been a wonderful crowd. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm very excited to welcome the next performer to the stage. Please give a wonderful round of applause for Mariel Farhi, everyone.